It's been 6 years since I've spent this long at the home I grew up in. Like many people's relation to home, this place is very special to me. Coming back home feels kind of like coming back to an old book, where you bring all your life experience that you've had with you to the second reading. You remember what it was like for your past self to read this book, and now you see things you didn't see before. Many people over time have defined what home means to them, and a common artistic definition I've seen is, home is where the heart is, or home is not a place, it's a feeling. While I think these are spot on, I've also been interested in the opposite, which is the physicality of the world around us, and the meaning that these physical spaces have. And even maybe the personalities and the life they have in their stillness, if you want to get really imaginative. In the same way that a shower cleanses us, you could say a house houses us. And these inanimate objects don't have any real movement or will in them, but they do these sort of pseudo-actions to us, giving them a special role. I see this especially in objects that are larger than us. You could say cars carry us from one place to another. Even though we're driving them, they are still holding and protecting our bodies as we fly through space and time. And now that I think about it, even an object smaller than us, like a pen, you could say expresses us. We write with the pen, but without the tool, we are left without words on the page. In the most simple language, it seems clear that we have relationships with not just other people around us and other life forms around us, but with these inanimate objects too. Something that just popped into my mind as I was writing this was a familiar thought about the relatedness of this to Newton's third law. And Newton's third law says, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. This is meant to be applied to physics, obviously, because that is the context it was created in. But if we want to go outside of the box a little bit and apply some philosophy to it, there does seem to be a little snippet of truth as well, I think. In the same way, when I push up against a stationary wall, the wall pushes back up against me, which is actually a real example of Newton's third law in real life in physics. In a philosophical way, you could say, when you live in a house, the house also houses you. The house also shelters you, and even contains you, not just physically, but in the sense that much of your life and memories all happen within it. I often wonder, because of this, if a house did have a mind, what sort of personality it would have. I think it would be patient, for obvious reasons, because it sits and watches. I think it would be very gentle and caring, wanting the best for its inhabitants. I think it would be watchful and would get upset when it couldn't do something for one of its inhabitants having a hard time. It would have to be accepting of this reality, that it couldn't help. It would have to compassionately stand at a distance and let things unfold naturally. I realize this description I've just written sounds an awful lot like what I picture God to be in some ways. Maybe God and home are related. Maybe they're distant cousins or something. Or maybe they're just both invested in the same mission. Anyway, this is all just a thought experiment and was very fun for me to think about. I hope it was interesting to you as well, and I challenge you, if you are at home during quarantine, to try to get to know your house in a different way than you have before, because you're probably spending so much time in it right now. Maybe go to a room that you haven't spent a lot of time in the past and try to find something new that you didn't see before. Or just lay down and look up at the ceiling and imagine what type of personality you think your house would have.